So let's now move to the next question in finishing. I got a voice message from a friend. She was. I'll read. It's an apartment in Ryde, and I'll play the audio message.
The apartment I'm looking at sold for $545 in 2013, and they're asking for $510. I also noticed a couple of other apartments have actually sold cheaper as well.
Okay, so it's a 1 bed, 1 bar. Oh, did you bring up the research?
Yeah.
1 bed, 1 bath. So it was sold for $545 in 2013. So in Ryde, so you almost see the Harbour Bridge from there if you're on the hill or whatever. And now they're asking $510. I basically said, hey, look at the Strata report and try and go through that. In 2029, they think the outside wall will need replacing, and that will cost $380,000 for the Strata committee.
Yeah.
So within 5 years. So there will be a special levy for that against all residents. It could average out at around $4,000. Because how many, does it tell you there, how many in the building?
There's 95 in the complex, yeah.
So just talk to us, because I was legitimately shocked when she said that. Doesn't property always go up in value, and particularly in Sydney?
Well, no. The answer to that is no. A lot of people put emphasis on location, and I get that, especially in cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, etc. But the type of property, and in this case, the building that it's in has a big impact on prices. Now, this property that's being referred to, that was bought off the plan, so brand new in 2014. So clearly they've paid too much for it back then.
So that's categorically you think that happened? They've paid too much for it back then?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The RP data core logic valuation today has it at 485. So people look at these as potential bargains when they chat to the agent, and the agent says, "Oh, the owner needs to sell, and they're willing to take a discount." And
well, she said to me, if you offer $510 to $530 in that range, they'll take it.
Yeah, so it's probably still $20,000 to $30,000 too much, but
particularly when there's others for sale. In the complex.
That's right. And even if you did get yourself a discount, even if you went and bought it for $450. Is there a discount on the way in? Well, conceptually, yes, but you can't put lipstick on a pig. Like the vacancy rates in Ryde are high, even though we've got this housing shortage around the country. The vacancy rates are still up around 1.5%, which is still low. I get that, but in comparison to, say, houses in most solid areas, the vacancy rates there are like 0.1 or 0.2%. That's where the comparison is there. It's on a very busy road, like Blaxland Road is an A3.
Hang on, I'm looking at a website that says the vacancy rate is 1.45 in Ryde. Or have you drilled down to apartments?
No, so that's what I said. 1.5 I said, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is really good, isn't it?
Well, it is good in comparison, but in comparison to what we're seeing around the country now, a lot of vacancy rates are below 1%.
Right. So relatively it is high.
It has come down. You can look at that and say, well, I can get it tenanted at 1.5%, no problems. Traditionally, when you look at the graph over the last 20 years, it's sort of sat around 3% or above, which generally means there's some sort of slight oversupply. But, yeah, very busy road. Obviously, the building itself isn't that flash. Like, you shouldn't have to be replacing a wall after 10 years.
No.
There's 95 in the complex, which, yeah, look, is more than you'd like. It's only 1 bed. So when you look at...
Has it got a car spot, did you see?
Well, it doesn't actually say. On RP data it says it hasn't, but then when it's advertised it says it does. So maybe there's shared car spaces there that people can access. I don't know. But internally it's only 52 square. So It does have a balcony by the looks to make it a little bit larger, but it's a small it's a small dwelling internal. And when you look at 1 beds, 1 bath, who are you attracting? You're not attracting a family.
No, and my friend, she's in her lower 40s,
Yeah.
and is single and unmarried, so
And
it makes sense for her.
And if she's looking at that saying, well, I just want security, I just want to buy something that I can handle the mortgage, or I have no mortgage, I'm close to work, I can get into the city really easily, and it fits my needs, then you would start to look at it. But when you look at a wall that needs replacing, I'm like, yeah, it's an alarm bell. And the market's really telling you that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it like Blaxland Road, I don't know if you've been on it, but it is extremely busy. So
Right.
the walls probably come apart because it's so busy. And the movement, I don't know. But, yeah, it's definitely a no for me. And in answer to your question, does property always go up? Well, no. In this case, it hasn't. And in a lot of cases with this type of dwelling, and I've been banging on about it for 7, 8, 9, however long we've been running, you see similar scenarios.
Yeah. So it's generally a no for you. You wouldn't touch it. But if the glove fit, and it does for a lot of people, as you said, I want the security. It looks nice-ish. What does it say? What level it's on?
Yeah, so it's 6.
6. Yeah. So it would be 6th floor likely. Yeah. So if the shoe fits, the shoe fits. Would you suggest going in at 500, or if you really want it, know that you? And this is it. Like, I think what I'll do. There was a lady that you interviewed last year. She does like full strata due diligence.
Yes.
I forget the name of her company. For a few $100s, you'd pay her to go through the report.
Well, yeah, I mean, the issue, I don't know if the shoe ever fits on something like this for someone that really appreciates living in a good complex that's going to maybe create some wealth through real estate. I just, it's a walk away for me. Like I wouldn't be buying it with a 5 in front of it.
Yeah, okay. And particularly if there's others in the complex, I mean, it's got a nice view. It's got a bath, nice. Looks like a small bath.
Okay, so I'm just reading the first page of CoreLogic on this complex. And I'm looking at the owner type. Rented, 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 rented. I don't know how many times I've said that, but there's not one owner occupier on the first page.
So do you reckon most of the building is
Investor.
Yeah.
So the vacancy rate, and the devil's in the detail, the vacancy rate might be 1.5 for the suburb, but when you dig down into the actual asset itself, you then see, well, at this rate, it's 100% investor.
Yeah. It says secure underground car space with cage storage.
So that might be the extra 24 square that they were talking about.
Right. But that's it, isn't it? Like in this world, there's clearly lots of apartments. Whatever my friend does, my advice would be, one, pay the strata report person to literally go, because she sent me a 200-page report, and I obviously don't have the expertise and the will to go through that. Pay someone to do some actual due diligence of the strata report. If you do want it for certainty and all that, sure, grab it.
Yeah.
But you need to know that over the next 10 years, number one, it might move sideways and do nothing.
Yep.
Number two, you will be on the hook for a special strata levy that could be $3,500 to $4,500, depending on your allotment size. That'd be easy to work out through the strata reports. What's the sinking fund like? You know, is there arrears for a lot of people in the building?
Yeah.
Like all this stuff will be hidden in plain sight. Like it will be there.
Yeah.
I want you to look at meeting minutes and look for any kind of ad hoc comments where someone said, oh, yeah, we think that this will need to be done in 2039 or 2029. We will, in 2028, we'll commission an engineer. That 380 might be cute. Like
it could be 780. Like, who knows? Like in 2029, what are building costs? What are there's a massive inquiry and regulations being altered now for apartments being built. So they could come in 2029 and say, well, hang on a minute, this wall's...
Well, the wall's connected to the car park. There's a flood issue, so we actually have to redo something or...
The whole plumbing, the whole electrical...
I don't know.
Yeah. It's. I wouldn't even be looking at the Strata report. I'd just be moving on. And your friend might say, well, I've only got $500 to spend, so I haven't got too much choice here. I'd rather go 1 or 2 suburbs further out and buy something in a smaller complex that's better condition. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's hard. And this is it, like when your lifestyle is on the North Shore,
yeah,
like further out from Ryde, okay, we've got West Ryde.
Yeah.
Then we've, before you know it, you're at the foot of the mountains.
But those suburbs, Ryde and surrounds, are notorious for just concrete jungles, basically. So don't think that your 500K asset's going to be $1 million in 10 years' time.
Yeah, I don't know why. She just needs to pay for a buyer's advocate. Pay them $15,000. Like, find me a 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car, get a map, draw a circle on it, and just go find something that isn't advertised.
Well, all 95 of those are rentals.
Are you serious?
I cannot find one owner-occupier in there. So, yeah, that's no go.
Well, there you go. We will leave it there this week. Thank you so much for having a listen. My name is Glenny J. Your name is...
John Pigeon.
And remember, don't get yippy. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you want to support us, there is one way you can do that. You can send the episode to a friend, a family member, or your group chat if you think those people would find it valuable. We also thank you for leaving a review on Apple or Spotify. If you've listened to this podcast for some time, or if you've read any of my books, you would know that giving and generosity in a financial sense is a big thing in my life. If you think it's time that you are ready to give financially to a good cause, you could head to our website, moneypodcast.com.au/charities to see the charities that we support.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the product disclosure statement, PDS, and target market determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds Financial Services Licence 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective licence holders.